Welcome to Okago TV. Today we have a special guest all the way from Nigeria, and his name is Sam ONYEISI. He is loaded with experience. He is an international figure. He has lived in different parts of the world, and we are honored to have you here today with us. And we will be happy to learn from your wealth of experiences. Dr. ONYEISI, please welcome. Can you please give us a background information about yourself?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chris Okago. You know, we have been a long-time friend, and I'm really humble to have this chat with Okago TV. And I think it's a great opportunity, which I've been looking for, to be able to express myself, my view, and also exchange my experiences. So to start with, as you have rightly said, I am OGBONNA Sam ONYEISI, PhD, MNI. I am the Royal High Chief of Obimo Nsukka community. Royal High Chief is the highest hierarchy in the Igwe's cabinet. And Obimo, as I've said, is an Nsukka local government. And I graduated from Temple University, USA. I had a master's degree in economics and PhD in economics from Enugu State University and Ebonyi State University in Nigeria. Then I have authored a book, which is on sales in Amazon right now, titled Policy and Strategy for Patriotism, Institutional and Economic Development in Nigeria. As you have rightly said, I've traveled widely, and I had a stint in Brazil where I was teaching English. I lived so many years in Japan. And before coming back to Nigeria in 2008, so one of my mentor, late Professor Julius Ona, one day when he was trying to inspire me to go into academics, he was telling me that, do I know what I will bring into academic if I go into academic? That I'm not only bringing experience about Nigeria economies, that I'm bringing international, Brazil, Japan, Africa. So such experiences to me is what I've been looking opportunity, where how to exchange these experiences. And that's why I left Africa, I left Japan, specifically in 2006, but finally 2008, I've been in Nigeria. And since I came back to Nigeria, I have been participating in politics. I contested election, Federal House of Representatives for Nsukka Igboeze South in 2007. I contested House of Assembly for Nsukka West constituency in 2011. I contested Federal House of Representatives again for Nsukka Igboeze South in 2011 and in 2015. Then in 2019, I contested for Nsukka West State constituency in 2019. Unfortunately, none of these things I was able to succeed in getting elected, but I'm not deterred, because I'm one of the person who believe that if I have a passion, and thank God I have the means, that is, I'm strong enough physically and psychologically to pursue my passion. There's one book I read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It says, many people for riches, but provide a definite plan and burning desire, which paves the way for it. So I believe that this burning desire I have and the plan, as you can see, I'm not only pursuing my academic and my political career, I'm also trying to improve myself academically. That's why when I start expanding my education. So now I have PhD in economics and I have published widely. If you Google OGBONNA ONYEISI, you can see how many publications I have done. Actually, now I am the chief reviewer of International Academic Forum Japan. And just to tell you that I'm also into academics. I'm lecturing part-time at Enugu State University of Science and Technology at Nsukka campus. And I'm a visiting lecturer at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Study. Actually, I was nominated from this year to be visiting a National Institute, Kuru, just because I graduated from there. So that's why when I introduce myself, I say I'm an MNI, that's member of the National Institute. So I have a lot of accolades in my when we say many feather on my cap. And I think if I start talking all of them, I'm a Knight of St. John International. So being a chief, being a doctor, being a knight, sir, so a lot of things. But to me, the most important thing for me is my ability to build institutions. Because wherever I go, starting from Japan, when I was in Japan, I was the founder of Enugu State Association, Japan. I was the founder of Nigerian Union, Japan. I was the founding member of Nigerian Diaspora Organization. I was the founding member of Hannes Ndibo, Japan. I was the national delegate to World Igbo Congress, USA. World Igbo Congress is an annual event where Igbos from all over the world. So I was a delegate for Japan for 2004 and 2005. Then on political angle, I was a founding member of PDP Japan. So, and most of all these organizations like the Enugu State Association, I was the founder and the first chairman. And the Nigerian Union, though I wasn't the chairman, but I was a member of the organization. I was a former president. Then, and the PDP, which I was the founding member, actually publicity secretary, Japan chapter, became the chairman of Japan chapter, which I was actually inaugurated by Obasanjo in 2006. So look, you can see the experience I have to offer. And that's why I'm looking for the opportunity to offer that experiences. That's why I feel that it is not a mistake that I was born in Nigeria. I can have every life I want in overseas, but from the first day I landed overseas, I started preparing how to come back home. And that's why I've been around since 2008, playing our politics, trying to see how I can be part of the system, how I can, because I believe that my experience all over the world has shown that people, every nation, it is the citizen of that nation that build the nation. And our challenge in Nigeria today is that we are the one, what I call the value that help to build a nation, starting from the citizen value, the cultural value, the social value, the political value, and the economic value. So this is what I've been studying to see what are those challenges we have in Nigeria. And with all these years I've been around, of course, I've also had instincts being in, since I came back, I was once a chairman of a board appointed by the former governor of Enugu State, Sullivan Chime. I was there for about 7 years. I was a council member of Enugu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mines and Agriculture. And I've also participated in so many organizations, like I was the publicity secretary of the Alumni Association of the National Institute. when I was a public secretary of the National Institute, we organized so many dialogue and conferences about Nigeria. One is we called the value orientation in Nigeria. So I was the moderator of that conference. We also organized the political stability, the security and the political stability in Nigeria, which was chaired by the Sultan of Sokoto and the Minister of Malami. The Security Advisor to Buhari was there. I was the moderator. We also organized another conference on how to, the control of the farmers' herders conflict in Nigeria, the challenge of herders, farmers, and the solutions. So I was the moderator of these conferences. So from all this, you can see that since I came back, I've been really involved, try to play parts in so many ways. But my key objective is that the citizen should strengthen institutions in a society, because strong institution, as an economist, I believe it's only when you have a strong institution, you can experience economic growth and development. So, and since I've been in politics, that has been my slogan. What can we do to develop or promote value system that will help us to, as a citizen, to participate in our nation development, in our nation economic growth, and in our nation social development. So, and my key argument is that this value system is the key. And that what is different, I have found out from all over the world. Because any society without citizen value, cultural value, societal value, political value, and economic value, you are not going to develop. You are just beating about the bush. So, and that's what makes the difference, because Nigeria has an enormous potential in agriculture, in industrial, in service sector, because of our population. So I have discovered the potential of this country, but without looking at this value system, which can help us even when we talk of economic diversification, which we can talk when we talk of economic growth and when we talk of economic development. So the value system is what I've been promoting. I even have an NGO which focus on how to promote value system in Nigeria. And I've given speeches, I've organized workshops, both for the youth and some adults, and whatever I'm talking, I say, before you talk of economic growth and development, talk about the value system of the society, which based on these 5 areas I've enumerated. So,
whoa. The audience, you can see, he has intimidating credentials. He has various experiences, locally, internationally, and what have you. You know, sometimes people argue we don't have the brain power, but the brain power is there. This is a practical example of the type of people we need to transform the country. These people are being underutilized. Is there anybody listening? Please grab quality people like Dr. Sam Onyeisi and help us to change the direction of the country. He has been abroad. He garnered a lot of experiences, but home is home. Home is sweet home. He's here with us now, and he wants to help change the country. So the ball is on your court, the government, to make use of what we have, the quality things we have to get what we want. A PhD holder, an author, MNI, chief, you know, a knight in the church, established the Nigeria Union in Japan, president, Enugu State Union, PDP Japan, World Igbo Congress, board chairman, Chamber of Commerce, the PR Alumni Association of Nigeria Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, runs an NGO, part-time lecturer, visiting, oh my God, too numerous to mention. Please, it's an honor to have you on Okago TV. Now, tell us more about your political life. We know you contested elections. I know how it goes in Nigeria. Nigeria likes money. Please forgive me for saying this, but we must speak the truth. Nigeria likes money. They don't want to use the quality individuals they have. Like that man from Kenya, you know that professor from Kenya, you remember the name? The guy always delivering lectures on corruption and so on.
Yes, I know the professor.
Yeah, he contested election in Kenya and lost to a quality individual like him. And you remember what he said? That people don't listen to people like him. They listen only to what we call in Nigeria stomach infrastructure. So, being a seasoned politician, a well-read man, a knight, a PhD holder, what are your thoughts about the 2022 general election? Let's start from the federal level first.
Well, when you talk about 2023 general election,
2023, sorry.
2023 general election, the timetable is out and the process has started because according to INEC timetable, by early next month, June, every party must submit their candidates for election. Because based on constitution, it has to be a timeline that you submit the candidate before the election, which is coming up in February, starting from February next year. So the timetable is out. The parties are now in the process, like in PDP, they have finished selling of forms, screening of candidates. Actually, the primary is supposed to start at the early this month, but was postponed again until the primary starting on 18th of this month. So on 18th, you have the House of Assembly, and 20th, you have the Rep, on 21st, you have the Senate, on 23rd, you have the gubernatorial primary election. So
are you talking about PDP or both?
Yes, I'm talking PDP. I'm coming to the APC.
Okay.
Has already started. They have started selling these forms, where if you read, you can see about 25 people are aspiring to be president of Nigeria in APC. So they are selling the form and they have started their own process. So, but every party, some other party also, they have started. So every party must submit their candidate by, I think, June 7th, 6th or 7th. So that the 2020 election is on course. Then, of course, as you know, there must be challenges. Even the ANEC is talking about the challenges, like we have security challenges going on. We have the funding challenges. We also have when I talk of value system, because you rightly mentioned about our challenge, issue of money politics. Well, all over the world, there's money in politics because you have to campaign, you have to do a lot of things. But ours, why is so exorbitant, as I might say, is because of our value system, as I said, because majority of the people, they're not prepared to follow the process, even the citizen, because it is the greatest child and the greatest right every citizen has to go and vote on election day and then vote with your conscience. But all these years I've been trying, you discover that the citizens are not even prepared to listen to what you are coming to do. They want to see their immediate gain. And that immediate gain, of course, what I say, to me, it is because of the level of awareness of the citizen. Because somebody cannot just give you 1,000 naira and you go and vote. You are mortgaging your future. You are mortgaging the future of your generation. You are mortgaging, because the person you vote, you must know the past. You must know the character. And democracy is one dynamic thing that is, it has also given you opportunity that if somebody is there in the next election, you still have opportunity to vote the person out. So when I talk about value system, it is one of the critical area of our challenge because the citizens are not prepared mentally. The cultural factor is playing out. Our social environment contributes its own. Then our political value. Because some of us, what inspires me to politics, when I look at the life of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Tafawa Balewa, Sir Anahoro, when you look at all these men, you see that they were all prepared before they go into politics. And the value they had is quite different from what we have right now. Because majority of the people are going to politics because they feel is one way to get rich quick, to get fame fast, and but the most is to get rich quick. If you can see somebody graduate from university today, is thinking that if he goes to the politics, that's why he gets a job. So these are accumulation of the challenge we have, but the only solution is if we can start looking at this our value system. How did things get wrong? Then, because everything is the citizen, as I said, the mental consciousness of the citizen. That is, but when it comes to institutions, we have institutions. But who are those managing the institution? It's not the citizen. So that's what I'm saying, that even when I make reference to my book, I say patriotism, promotion of patriotism is the key, because it's a patriotic citizen that are going to manage the institution and make it become strong institution. And it's only when you have strong institution, the election will be free and fair, the election will be conducted in a civilized manner, then the other institution, the economic institution, will also grow. So we have an INEC, which is said is prepared to conduct election, but now I have enumerated some of the factors that contribute to the challenge of having credible and stable elections.
Okay, now let's stick with credible election. I read, I'm not, this interview I'm conducting from Norway, but I read somewhere that Emefiele, the CBN governor, is bought form to contest for the primaries in APC presidency. And there is another man that is in a strategic position in Nigeria too, that bought form to contest for the governorship of one of the northern states. That man is in the company that prints the election materials. And the CBN that Emefiele is the governor, is the institution charged with keeping safe the election materials. The printer of the election materials, if the information is correct, is trying to contest for primaries, and the people that should secure the election materials are trying to contest. What impact will that have on the election, in your own view, if it is true?
Well, if it is true, that is the point there, because in this information age, there are a lot of information flying here and there, and because of, you can't just say the authenticity of this information. You can't say if it is from the right source, because somebody can just write something and cook it and post it and it starts to go viral. The issue of the CBN governor, well, I think it has a legal implication, because it is now a question of, I think there's a court case waiting, because what we read was that some people bought form for him to contest. So now, the issue now becomes, as a central bank governor, does he contest governor? I think it is the court jurisdiction will determine that. I don't know. Then, but constitutional rights, all this is something that will look for the legal interpretation. So, but in the moral right, this is where you can come in, because many people are just saying that, what is the morality of somebody as a CBN governor contesting a presidential election? Is it obtainable? Is it something that is morally right? So these are the points. So we look at it legal and morally, you can now decide where you stand. But as it is now, I cannot tell you authentically if this information is true or false, because just in a matter of days, the list of those that are screened to participate in the election will be out. We will now know who have scaled through. So he has denied almost that he's not contesting or so, but as I said, I don't know which information is right, because
or wrong. Me too.
So we are just waiting for the political process to determine. So if the APC publish his name as one of the aspirants, then we now know that he has bought a form and he has been screened and he has scaled through or not. So let's wait for the legal interpretation. Then on the moral angle, it's now left for me and you to start thinking if it is right or wrong. And that's what's going on in social media.
Okay, let's talk about Jonathan, the ex-president. Jonathan was in PDP and they made a mess of him. APC made a mess of him as a sitting president. And even when they took over power, they blamed everything on Jonathan. But there is a rumor going around town that he wants to come back to contest for the presidency. The big story is not about his coming back, because politicians always come back. The big story is that he is trying to join the particular APC that made a mess of his presidency. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I will still make reference to the MFLS top issue I have said earlier. The Jonathan own case is not clear also, because there are some other news going around that he's denying that he has not bought the form or has not accepted the form. There's also information going on, news that the PDP said that he has not resigned as a PDP member. So this, the issue of, in Nigeria, because, we don't have a legal backup to challenge, because you can see some people, you win an election in one party, you jump to the other party, and there's some court will judge that is right. But in some environment, that is not right, because you use the machinery of a political party to win an election, and all of a sudden, and when you look at the APC today, if you go to the history of the major players in APC today, they were all migrated from the PDP. And the same thing is applicable to some other parties. So the issue of cross-carpeting in Nigeria is the people are doing it without any justification and without any, let me just say that, they're doing it with impunity, put it in that way, because there's no legal, there has not been established legal framework to challenge somebody to just jump into one party anyhow. And but what you have in Constitution is the right for association. And I think that what even the MFLA is challenging, that as a citizen, you have a right to associate in whatever and whoever you like. So the Jonathan case, we also have to wait and see if he has been screened and certified by APC to contest election. Then we can now say, yes, he has done that. Then we can now see what is the legal implication there. We can also look at the moral angle you are coming up. But if he does it, it is common. Like Atiku was one of the founding members of APC. He was a founding member of PDP. He went to APC. Now he came back to PDP. Saraki, so many of them. So it is common to see somebody jumping from one party to the other. And you criticize the party today and tomorrow you are there. So for Jonathan's case, I don't think that should be, there is not a new thing here if he decides to. So what is new here now is for me and you to see what is the moral justification, because a political party is supposed to work with a manifesto. And if you are joining a party, you are joining it because of the manifesto of the party, the principle. If the party manifesto agree with your own personal principle. Because the founder of Toyota in Japan, I once said that a gentleman compromise, but he doesn't betray his principle to conform. So if you betray a principle to conform because you want a political power, that's where I have challenge. And that's what I'm saying, that we must bring the concept of promotion of value system in our society so that people will even know the implication of their action. Because if citizens don't know the implication of the action, then you see this thing continue without, people are just doing anything they like without thinking about the implication of it. Because as a politician, whatever you say today, if you look at the United States during the presidential election, if you are in the National Assembly, all the policy you have voted in, it is there, it's a history. You have voted against abortion, and you cannot come and start preaching for abortion. If you have voted for increase in tax, you cannot come and start voting for a decrease in tax. So there's this kind of principle which work in some developed society, developed democracy. But in our society, somebody will say something today, and tomorrow is talking a different thing. And I think it's because of the gullible of our citizens who can really distinguish. Because whatever somebody tells you, you need to say, yes, this man said this, and this is his belief. So our belief system, which is a component of our value system, is something I think, and I keep saying, if we must make any headway, that's why we're looking at. So, because we have a legal institution to interpret some of all these things so that everybody will be clearer. But you also know that our legal institution is compromised. So, but we can't give up. Let's wait and see the party. They will release their candidate in the next few weeks. Let's see who have been screened, certified to contest under which party. Then we can now say if we can now look at that the legal and moral implication of such decision.
Okay, thank you very much. You are really a well-grounded politician. Can you tell us, please, what do you think about the 100 million naira for the purchase of the APC nomination form? And what do you think about the 40 million naira for the purchase of the presidential expression of interest form in PDP?
Well, one thing I will tell you is that, like any part of the world, you need money to conduct an election. And in Nigeria, governments don't finance elections. So parties must rent the funds they will use for campaign, they will use for their political activities. So, and what we have discovered, there is no constitutional provision saying this is the amount a party must charge, or this is the limit a party must charge. So in that, if there's no such incumbrance for the parties, so I think that's why you see every political party is charging any amount they want. And all this money, it is to be able to conduct their primaries and carry on their campaign, because government is not funding parties. So, and I cannot talk for the APC because I am not a card carrying member of the APC, but on the PDP angle, these things are based on the budget. You now fix, you know, they are almost approximately how much we need to conduct elections, because some of these primaries, you have to send people from one state to the other to come and conduct the primaries. So it's the party pays for this, the logistics, the accommodation, a lot of things involved. Then the same thing, printing of the material for those primaries, and the campaign is coming up. The party also they give money to their candidates. And it's from this. The candidates, I think in the candidate, there's a limitation you can raise, but the party also sponsor giving the candidates some money to carry on their campaign. So there's no legal impediment, to the best of my knowledge, and that's why every party has a right to fix any amount it wants for its form. Because if there's a legal implication, some people must have challenged it.
Okay, let's move away a little bit from the federal level. Let's come down to the state level now, and particularly your state, Enugu State. And I happen to come from the same Enugu State. The governorship election is coming up. Tell us, some of us that are not around town, what is happening, what is brewing, what is boiling, what is in the pot as per the governorship election in Enugu State in particular?
Well, the governorship in Enugu State, just like any other state, has kicked off because the party, they have sold form, nomination form, and now we have about 19 people contesting under PDP. So the APC, they are still selling their form. Other parties are still selling their form. So, and that's to tell you that the process is on. Though the argument, which is common in Enugu State today, is whether there's a zoning formula for governorship or not. So there are two schools of thoughts. One is saying that there's no zoning formula, that any senatorial zone can contest. There are others saying that based on the procedure so far, that first of all, one senatorial zone took the shots, followed by another, then the last, which is the incumbent. That after this now, which starts from the senatorial zone that had the first slot. So these are the first school of thought. The others are saying that this thing has never been discussed and agreed on. So the argument is everywhere. And we are waiting for the political parties, how they are going to execute or implement, whether through zoning or not. So this is what will determine this is now in the primaries, as I said, in the next 1 week, let's say approximately by 23rd of May, most parties, or let's say specifically PDP and APC, let's say before the end of this month, all the party must have published their candidates for national election, I mean for governor election. We will now see which school of the thought is dominating the other. So, but these are the reality on ground.
Okay, let me ask you a tricky question now. Assuming you are Buhari, whom will you support in APC to become the nominee? And assuming you are the governor of Enugu State, who will be your candidate in PDP? It's a very tricky question.
Very tricky indeed. Very tricky indeed. But in my own belief, as a Democrat and somebody who has seen the world, also not very comfortable with this concept of that if you are president, that you will determine who will succeed you. It's supposed to be in the, if it's a party, the party should bring the candidates and determine who will implement the manifesto of the party. That is the reality, and that's what I think should be done. But in our society, it is not that way. And I think the choices is kind of a personal thing for you to determine now, since now is not the prerogative of the president or the governor to determine who succeed them. So it's a personal thing. If it's me, if I'm given a chance to select who will succeed me, I will know. I think I specifically can say historically, most of the organization I headed, whenever I'm leaving, I always try to, because as a member of that organization, I will have my own interest. My interest is somebody I think that will continue probably the work of the objective of the organization. So, because if you just support anyone who will, because you, as a leader, you know who is who. You know who is corrupt. You know who will do the job. Of course, somebody can change, but at that particular moment, as a president, he knows his cabinet members. He knows those working closely with him, and he can say, this is the person I think can do a good work. If you want to do it patriotically means somebody that will deliver for the people, not somebody that is selfish. So, and I think that should guide the president and also the governor, as he said. But as I said, this is a matter of a personal choice. If it is me, I will know how to make my own choice. And if you ask me, I will say that is not even the best principle. The best principle is that should be, as is done in some other society. If you are a party carrying member at the Congress, you vote based on your conscience.
Okay, as a follow-up to that.
This could be the best.
As a follow-up to that.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. Let's make a projection. I know you're not a gambler, but you're experienced enough to be able to project. Who will win the APC nomination and who will win the PDP nomination? Let's start from the federal level first.
Well, this projection is very difficult to say because, as I said, right now, of course, APC, the PDP, they have screened their candidates. They know how many people contesting now, those that are qualified to contest. So, and as it is at this moment, because this concept of zoning also came up in the PDP, where they were trying to decide, should you zone this to a certain part of the country or not? But they couldn't reach agreement on that. So as it is now, it's going to be thrown out. Not anyone who succeeds in winning the candidates will go. And you know, the PDP case is different from APC because PDP does not have a national leader, because it is the APC has a leader like the president. So in the PDP case now, it will be thrown open, and who could win the highest delegate will go. And as it is now, we cannot predict. Even as a party person, I cannot predict who is going to win the primary because they are all consulting, they are all visiting states now. So, but I believe in the next few days before the national convention coming up on 28th of May, few days before then, you can now see by your interaction, you can now see that who is most of the state delegates, because every state has someone, the leader of the delegates. If it's a PDP state, the governor is the leader of the delegates, so he determines where the delegates are going to vote. If it is another state that is not a PDP governor, somebody, the highest political officer there, is the leader of the delegates. So they will now, before they come in, so it's like a state thing now. Who could win more state delegates to vote for him? That's the only way you can determine. So on the APC angle, I think the same thing is applicable. But the difference is that the president will have influence on who emerges as the APC presidential candidates.
Okay, let's do the same thing with the state level. Do you have any idea who will win the nomination at the state level? Or do we move on?
I think it is applicable to state as well. Like in our own state today, you cannot really say, because many people have been saying the governor, who are you anointing? And the governor has not made any statement on that regard. So then we're also waiting, probably in the next few days before the primaries. Through interaction, you now know each local government, who are they going to vote, and also based on what I said on the presentation. So the governor now also, everyone will be looking at his body language as well.
Let's just briefly talk about local government system in Nigeria. Do you think the influence of the governors on local government chairmen is something that is right? Do you think it is something that is right? Because if there's local government election, most of the time, the governor selects. It's not like an election, it's like a selection. 90%, more than 90% selection. What do you think about that? Is it correct?
Well, when you talk of right or wrong, you also need to look at the both legal implication and moral implication. So on the legal implication, which is the constitutional right, of course, there are constitutional amendments waiting for the presidential accession soon. The Constitution has given the state government rights to, through joint account system and the state electoral commission. So it has now become the prerogative of state government to conduct primary local government election, and also the issue of allocation, which comes through state government. So, of course, many people have been kicking against that, but all this is require some constitutional amendments to become right, and so that if the state government are still imposing local government chairman and all this. So, but as it is now, the constitutional right of the state government to conduct local government election. And as you know, all over Nigeria today, any governor that is the party that any party that the governor belongs always wins all the local government elections, because the governor influences it. So, of course, when it comes to moral implication of that, you know, you can now with yourself determine whether is it right or wrong. And in Nigeria here, some people who are benefiting from the system will tell you that it's right. Those who are not will tell you it's wrong. So, and to me, it is the constitutional issue, and we determine the legal implication.
Okay, let's look at the lawmakers we have in Nigeria. The Federal Assembly, the Senate, the Federal House of Reps, then the state assemblies. Do you think that they are just rubber stamps in Nigeria, or are they actually doing what they are supposed to do?
Rubber stamp is like being going to an extreme, because as it is Nigeria today, if you come on the federal level, the president determine is like there's a kind of the executive domination. It's supposed to be separation of power, but executive dominates the legislative and judiciary. So, which means, as it is, the legislatures, they have the constitutional rights, but I can't say reason why most often they don't use it. So whereby leaving their function to the benevolence of the president. So that I agree with what you say. If you want to put, if you want to say rubber stamp, that is it. But that's what I'm saying. You know, we're in a society where people don't really know their rights or don't want to assume their rights. Because recently, you will see people, somebody, for instance, on stage, you'll be complaining, complaining that federal allocation, every month you go to Abuja to get allocation. When you get that allocation, you use it to just spend the money. You don't think about what can you do to generate revenue in your state to be able to withstand even if that allocation doesn't come. So because states have potential, but they don't use it. Everyone is going to Abuja. So the legislature too, instead of using their power, they're also looking to the president. Instead of it is you, the legislature have power to even to impeach the president. The constitution has given them the right. But you hardly say that because the money that maintains them comes from the executive arm of government. And if you challenge, then the water will not flow and they know what will happen. Especially now that the days are running fast. If the president is supposed to, if the executives refuse to release money for them now, and some of them are going back soon, so what they have to do is to obey. So it's something I can say. I don't know what made them to become a rubber stamp, as you said, but it has to do with what I said. That's the value system, because what we value, you know, if it's a society where people value their dignity as a citizen, you know that you are there not for yourself. You are there for your constituency, and you'll be looking at what can you do to bring some democratic dividend to them. And if you feel you cannot do, what do? You resign and go back. But have you ever heard anybody resigning in Nigeria?
All right. Chief, sir,
Yeah.
we are gradually coming to the end of this interview, but please, what advice do you have for the upcoming politicians, for the young people? And what advice do you have for the people politicking right now about violence, about money politics, and something like that, about tribal politics, about electing quality people into office, you know, in that sphere?
Well, the advice, I will make reference to my book, which I said earlier. So there, what I did was I enumerated some of the challenges facing Nigeria. And I said that the only thing we need policy and strategies to promote patriotism and institutions, strengthen institutions, because this is the only way we can grow, develop our economy. So when we talk of advice, I think the only point we're missing, the missing link is that many people that are going to politics, you must have a personal you think, why do you want to go into politics? Do you want to go to politics to make money? Then you're in a wrong place, because if you want to make money, I will advise you to go and establish company. But if you are going to politics to offer service to people, then you are in the right place. And when you determine to do that, then you'll be ready to take in the challenges about that, to serve people. You are carrying people's problem, and sometimes even those who have done good, they will not even remember. But since you are satisfying your own personal urge and passion, then my greatest advice to anybody in Nigeria today, if you want to go into politics, I will advise you to go and read the biography of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the biography of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, biography of Sir Tafawa Balewa, and you will find out the level of preparation these men were before they went into politics. And throughout their life, they devoted their life to the principle they believe in. And that is to offer themselves to serve humanity, to serve their people. And this should be the guiding principle of anybody, both the future and the present generation. The present generation of politicians, many of them, they don't read. And when you don't read, there's no way you can make a difference. As I'm telling you, many of them, they have not read this. If you want to be a president of Nigeria today and you have not read the biography of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, My Odyssey, then you have not started. Because you now see how he started, the level of preparation he made before he climbed to the peak of his political career. So I think that is the greatest advice I can say, that anybody who wants to be a politician, you should read the biography of the great men, the founding father of this country, and you can see their passion. You can see that these men, they are extraordinary, and they have a lot to offer because of their value, the value system they believe in, which based on citizen value, the cultural value, the societal value, the political value, and even the economy, because our economy was thriving more 60 years ago than it is right now. In the next few weeks, I'm going to deliver a lecture at the National Institute, and it's titled Rethinking Economic Diversification. And one of my preparation, I say, why are we still rethinking economic diversification? Because the history of economic policy in Nigeria today has shown that we have had so many development plans, rolling plans, social adjustment program, the visions, missions, strategies, and all these things we are towards economic diversification. And up to now, we are still talking about economic diversification. We need to harness our potential. We have it in this country. Every state has something to offer. This is what I believe in economic development. So these are the my way of thinking, which I think it might be is a kind of divergence to most of our politicians today. And that's where I'm having a problem. And I don't think I'm going to change from this my stance, because if I'm here to make money, I don't know why I should live overseas. I know how much I was earning. Even to do any job, I will earn more than the president of Nigeria, but I'm here trying to make a difference. I think that should be the driving force of anybody who wants to participate in politics.
Thank you very much. Now, finally, tell us more about your book. You know, a little bit of snippets of what we can find inside. Where can we find the book? And how much is the book? Where can we buy the book?
Okay, well, the book is already on sale in Amazon. So if you Google Amazon, OGBONNA ONYEISI, you will definitely, if you Google my name, Amazon, the book will appear. So that's where you can now you can order it from any part of the world. That's how to get it. So, of course, in Nigeria, we wanted to present the book publicly, but due to the pandemic lockdown, we were not able to do that. So we are still looking for opportunity to do the public presentation. But before then, anybody who wants it, that should be, we haven't developed such marketing plan, but the book is here. We can send it to anywhere. But if you're any part of the world, just Google the link, Google my name on Amazon, you will see the book. Then you also ask about the content of the book. Well, the book, as I said earlier, the title of the book is Policy and Strategy for Patriotism, Institution and Economic Development in Nigeria. As an economist, I'm very passionate about what can we do to develop economy. And my philosophy is that for you to develop economy, you need to develop those that will develop economy, and that is the citizen.
That's a good one. That's a
yes, the citizens, and the citizen is about patriotism of the citizen. That's one my view, because when you talk about patriotism, there are so many schools of thought about patriotism. You have the nationalistic view, you have the moralistic view, you have the constitutional view, then you have the economic patriotic view, which has to do with the Asian view of economic development. And I borrowed that from the Asian, borrowed from Japan and a lot of Asian countries, because you must have a patriotic citizen who will work in an institution that will drive economic development. And that's what I've said in the book. So every chapter of the book has to do with, first of all, you start from the theoretical part where I'm trying to define what I think is patriotism, what I think is the institutions. Then I enumerated a lot of some strategic institutions that drive economic development. Like when you talk about central bank and its monetary policy, you talk about Ministry of Finance and its fiscal policies. Then you talk about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade and Investments, and you talk about the trade and the investments, international trade. Then there's also this issue of diaspora in Nigeria today. I talk about, first of all, in 2006, I led the Nigerian diaspora professionals to meet President Obasanjo, and that's when we recommended about Nigerian diaspora day. And what we mean is that if you look at so many countries in the world today, they have utilized the potential of their diaspora. And for Nigeria, we have a diaspora potential. The population, if you look at the amount the Nigerian diaspora remitting, the institution, I recommended it. It has been established now, the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. It's one of my recommendations in the book, because I was at the beginning when we were talking about how do we strengthen the diaspora community to contribute more to Nigerian economy. So, and I've devoted a chapter in the book about remittances, the economic impact of remittances, making references to China, Israel, India, Mexico, Philippines. These are some of the countries that have utilized their diaspora remittances to develop their country. So these are some of the content of the book. But one specific recommendation about the book is about economic patriotism. And in economic patriotism, it is a link into Asia development miracle. When you talk about Asia economic miracle, it is based on economic patriotism. Economic patriotism means that economic development policy must be formulated locally, implemented locally, domesticated. You know, it is not something you go to borrow from someone else. It must be from your culture, from your way of life. And the most important thing, the citizen must be taught that they have to work to develop their country. And that is what I mean by patriotism. Because it's only patriotic citizen that will manage institution, strengthen the institution, and then the economic and experience growth and development. If I start talking about the book, that is another story.
Thank you very much. You've done justice to that. It is a very powerful and wonderful book, and I invite everybody to go search for the book and buy a copy of the book. But it will be nice too, as you are going around the country delivering lectures, that one day you will bring all those lectures together into another book.
Yeah, that could be.
Because yes. And we wish to thank you for being our guest today. And we hope you will have the time to be with us any other time we invite you to come around. Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. It is my pleasure. I'm really humble for this opportunity. And of course, I try to express my view on our politics, economies, development, and our society. And This is an opportunity I've been looking for, and I must appreciate you for giving me this opportunity. So,
Thank you
anytime
very
you want me, I'm ready.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For sure, you will be invited. You'll be invited.
Thank you. Yes. See you again.